morning, everybody. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here today with the authors of the Self-Love Project. These amazing women have a book out. It is out in ebook for Kindle on Amazon today. Self-Love Project. I mean, really, this is awesome. And who couldn't use a little bit of help with, their self-love? So I am Angela Bell. I am with She Rises Studios, and I am here to introduce you to these ladies and just let them tell their stories. So I will pass it over to Nicole Curtis. Nicole, it's great to have you.
Thank you, Angela. Hello, beautiful ladies. Hello, everybody that's watching. My name is Nicole Curtis. I'm part of the leadership team at She Rises Studios. I'm also known as the AKA Crazy Chicken Lady. And I am so excited to be here. I am so honored to be on this panel with all of these beautiful co-authors inside of the book, The Self-Love Project. And self-love is something that I have diligently worked on, other than giving myself bubble baths and doing some shopping sprees. Self-love really comes from in here and in here. And so I'm really honored that I had the opportunity to write and share in this book. And we'll probably go more into that in a little bit. But hello, everybody. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are in the world, or evening. And I'm going to pass it to Stacy.
Hey everyone. I've got goosebumps already. Gosh, this is so exciting. So my name is Stacy Short. I am a self-love transformational life coach. I specialize in women who kind of secretly hate their life and have really lost themselves in the roles that they play. They play mother, daughter, sister, wife, caretaker, employee, and they really don't know who they are any longer. And so they've started damaging their relationships, the most important being the ones with themselves, and then the ones around them, because they've built up frustrations and resentment and don't know how to express, hey, I'm lost. I don't know who I am anymore. So I help them, I grab their hand, I take them through a journey of self-rediscovery and adjust how they speak to themselves, because how you speak to yourself is so important, and help them tap back into their inner wisdom and who they are at their core without all of those outside labels. So I am so excited to be part of this book. The name of my chapter is Love Island, Self-Love Island. And it goes a little bit about my journey into coming into rediscovering myself and taking hold back of my life instead of it just careening out of control. So I hope that you will pick up this book today and give us a little bit of a read, and then let me know what you think. I am always open for connection. I love meeting new people, and you can find me on all major platforms under Stacy Short.
Amazing. Thank you, Stacy. Yvonne, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, I'm Yvonne Wallen. I am a coach helping women that have previously experienced depression and are currently stuck, immobilized, overwhelmed with the prospect of moving forward in life, and just trying to find their dream and creating that new life where they can thrive. So I am women-centered, thriving beyond depression coach. And really my chapter is about helping women find that it is possible to thrive and create the life you want after depression, and to experience self-love, because I think the big doubt is, after going through depression, can I love myself? Is that even possible? So I really hope everyone picks up this book and enjoys all the chapters that are written. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Melanie, could you introduce yourself to everyone today?
Hi, Angela, and thanks very much. Yes, my name is Melanie Starr, and I'm a women's empowerment coach. I do tend to work a fair bit in the divorce area, and that's what inspired me to write this chapter, was really my clients, because one of the very sad things that I encounter in my practice is I'm an EFT practitioner among the many things that I do, and if anyone's familiar with EFT, you know that there's that setup statement where, even though, this terrible thing is happening in my life, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. But I have seen so many women just literally run into a brick wall when it comes to saying that they love themselves or accept themselves, that they can't do it. And that pretty much bring me to tears. And I have to backtrack again, away from the resistance to that, to start with, even though this terrible thing is happening and I feel, generally worthless. Many women feel unlovable and pretty much worthless after the end of their marriage and the destruction of their roles, as Stacey was talking about, that they don't even know what to do. They don't know who they are. And I have to get them into the place of saying, I'm open to the possibility that I could learn to love myself. You have to back way off and take the resistance away. And then they're like, okay, here's a little crack in the window. I could let in a little bit. I can work with this. And then starting from there, and it's like building a foundation, brick by brick, to get to facilitate this process for women where they can strip away the social and cultural conditioning that they're somehow less than, that their purpose in life is to serve others. We're so conditioned to the roles of self-sacrificing. We feel guilty if we put ourselves first. And it's like, oh, how can you be so selfish, as a woman? And we have all of these inner voices that are talking to us and holding us back from actually what could be a greater contribution to the world if we could actually really anchor down into the true power and beauty of who we are as women in our full capacity to love. And if you can't really love yourself, it's like you're cut off to some kind of, you're cut off to your connection to source in a way, right? Because we're part of source. We should love ourselves as much as anything and everybody else, because we're all one anyways, right? So how do we go forward and really be ourselves and make our contributions in the world if we're not even letting our own hearts be open to ourselves? So that's what inspired me. And so in my chapter, I take readers through a gentle process that helps them kind of sneak up on self-love by starting with more basic things like self-forgiveness, self-compassion, looking back to who that little girl is inside them and the original wounds that, started that whole process of not loving themselves anymore, or somehow feeling not good enough in whatever way, or not lovable enough because they weren't being pleasing enough, or whatever else expectation that they didn't feel they were meeting. And I do feel that women set the highest expectations on themselves more than anybody else. I'm not saying that men don't, but we are, we're conditioned and socialized in a different way as women. And we're taught not to have boundaries. And of course, having children really reinforces that, because it's sort of a boundaryless relationship for a long time. And we get to the age that I'm at, mid 50s, and you've been so drained and permeated your boundaries by your relationships. And it really becomes necessary, especially after something like a divorce or some other major life transition, to anchor into yourself. So I teach this process in this chapter, and it's short and sweet, not a hard read. So I really hope that women all over the world will pick up this book, because there's 11 authors, and that's 11 different perspectives and stories about how to learn to love yourself. And I think that's wonderful. And I'm just delighted to be part of the project. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Melanie. And Magali, thank you for joining us. Can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Magali Delille. I'm from Canada, Montreal, and I'm a passionate caregiver offline, and online I build my business, and I help believing wives model Proverb 31 woman lifestyle, but one step at a time from their capacities and limitation. And the title of my book, my chapter is Rise as Queen Esther. I was inspired by your She Rises, So I wanted to be part of this book because I want to help. I want to show believing wives that getting to their dream life is attainable, even if they commit, if they commit just to make a little meaningful action daily. So sorry for my English. It's kind of sometimes it's not fluid. So no matter where they start, for example, I personally start from a psychiatric hospital bound in my bed. So if I can do it, anyone else can. Okay. So in my chapter, I talk about my journey from mental illness to online business. And I talk about the coaching program I'm currently creating and the 9 to 5 escape plan for Proverb 31 women that I give for free. And I break down this woman's priorities and activities in detail. So I share some mindset biblical shift about wifehood and money making activities. So that's it in a big overview.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So ladies, one thing I did want to ask about today is if each of you could just dive in a little bit to what is self-love, right? And how does that differ from the things that we're taught to resist, things like arrogance or entitlement or self-absorption? Because there's so many mixed messages out there about loving yourself, but as you've all touched on, making sure you're there for everybody and don't, blur those societal expectations. So, we'll leave this open. Whoever wants to jump in first, just, what is self-love, or how do you understand it? And how does it differ from what, society says it is?
Melanie, why don't you go first and then
Sure,
and then
I
I'll
actually
go.
addressed this in my chapter because I think it's a misconception in a way that loving yourself is somehow like adulating yourself or being a narcissist or something. I actually have a paragraph that says it is not narcissism, self-indulgent selfishness, or a sense of superiority that leads you to love yourself. It's the recognition that you, like everyone else, are an individual expression of all that is, a divine being, part of the fabric of the universe, and deserving of the same care and love as every other part of the fabric of the universe. It is the understanding that you cannot fully express and share the fullness of your divine gifts if you are cutting yourself off at the knees. If you are not there for yourself, you are underpowered and don't have much energy to give. The other thing that I get into is that love is not just a feeling. It's not an emotion. It's something that you do. And it's also an energy that permeates the universe and that you can tap into. And it's not like allowing yourself to expand into that love that's already there and not blocking yourself from it. It's not that there's not selfish at all. In fact, it gives you more to give to other people. It's the opposite, actually, because we do, as women, we have a lot to give. But if we are underpowered and depleted, we become resentful, and we're not where we, if we're allowing our boundaries to be overstepped and we're overgiving, then we end up exhausted, depleted, and resentful, and then we're not very much good to anybody in that case. So it's actually loving to everybody to love ourselves.
I love that. So I want to build upon what Melanie just said, and I want to impart on you that self-love, self-care aren't bubble baths. They're not getting your nails done. You're not getting your hair done, although it's a part of it, right? Because when you feel better about how you look, you kind of exude that confidence. But I submit that self-love and self-care is in the time that you take to do those indulgent things. And so when you're doing your bubble bath tonight, when you're getting your nails done this weekend, realize that the self-love and the self-care is in the actual activity of taking time for you versus what the result is. And another thing that I'm super present to just from my own journey is I thought for a long time that codependency was love. And I was showing love by being and doing and giving to everyone. But in the end, what I realized through my healing is that codependency was actually manipulation, and that I was afraid to show up as myself for fear that I would be left. And so the self-love that came out of that was going, okay, well, I'm going to show up how I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up as me. I'm not going to give to everybody around me. I'm just going to be, and that is going to be enough. And that I struggled with for a very, very, very long time. I still do to this day. But I didn't realize for a long time the manipulation that was happening by me being codependent. I thought I was just giving, giving, giving. I didn't realize I was giving in order to control somebody else's idea, vision, and my value in their eyes. And so self-love is letting go of that and saying, I am here and that is my worth, no matter what anybody else thinks of me, because there was a 1 in 400 trillion chance of me even being born. And so my self-worth is inherent in me just breathing air. And that was really powerful for me.
100%.
I think I'm going to go ahead and chime in here. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just really, I was really taken on what Stacy just said about, not worrying about what other people are expecting you to do or say or be, because I think when, especially women who are coming out of depression, they're sometimes thinking that they want to do and make everyone else happy, and not fulfilling their own dreams. And they forget to listen to their own inner self, their intuition, and their own wants and desires, and chasing after those wants and desires. And they forget that also that self-love is a process. It's not something that you arrive at. It's something you're continuing to grow in all the time. So it's not like you're going to jump from self-doubt to self-love in an instant. It's like you're always growing and always becoming and learning to love yourself more and more all the time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Yvonne. So my chapter in the book is called The Self-Love for the Soul. And in there, I share my process of 6 important key things that I've done to help myself grow within the self-love. And one of the things that I advocate for that absolutely drives me crazy is that, like what Melanie was saying and what Stacy was adding on to, is that in today's society, if you are focused on self-love, or you're enduring in that, or adventuring in that, or exploring that, or wanting to become better in that, you're looked as being selfish. Because I think the main phrase in most society is you need to love others before you can love yourself. And I actually think you need to love yourself first before you can love others, because if the love that you're giving yourself is crappy and yuck and ick and disgusting and depressed and sad and mad and angry, and having filled of just this self-doubt and this lack of self-worth, what kind of actual love are you giving other people? Is it really actually pure love? And then on top of that, if you're not really focusing on loving yourself in your heart, within your mind, because I think those two are very different, and there has to be the love here and the love here for you to be able to move forward, for you to be able to really fully enjoy who you are and know who you are. With doing that, you have the ability to be able to love and serve women, men, anybody, right? Being the best mom you can be, the best wife you can be, the best brothers or the best sister, business partnership, whatever, right? All of your relationships are based on who are you? How do you feel about yourself? Do you know yourself? Do you value yourself? Do you respect yourself? Because if you don't, the love that you're giving is fake love, in my opinion. And so I really just challenge you to give yourself permission to love yourself, to value yourself, to respect yourself, to put yourself first, so that then when you go out into the world and you're in relationships, that you can actually really showcase what pure love is. And so, yeah, so that's just a little bit of what I wanted to kind of touch on and just share, and just felt inspired to just share with all of you women that are listening today, that if you're feeling that sense of just, you're so drained, because for me, in my past experience, I was so worried about everybody else and taking care of everybody else. And then I actually got, how I felt love was through them. And instead of really taking the stand for me first and not having to feel that the only love I can feel was from other people or by doing things for other people or being part of this and leading that, right? It comes from here first. So I just challenge you, if you're feeling this way, give yourself the stinking permission to show up wholeheartedly you. And if right now that's not looking so great, it's okay. We've all been there. It's a journey. It's a journey. Take it one day at a time, and take a notebook out and really do that self-evaluation of where you are right now. What is this thinking and what is this feeling? Write that out. And then on another piece of paper, I want you to look at what you wrote and start looking at it from an angle of what can I do today to help move closer to feeling more love for myself.
Yeah, I think it's really important, boundaries. Putting boundaries, it's so important. I mean, say no, it's a powerful word. And when I was not able to say no and make my put my boundaries, I was just burning out, and that led me to hospital. So yeah. And when I started to say no, I was feeling guilty. It was like I was the worst person in the world. Oh, I'm so mean, I'm so bad, I say no to this. It's a legitimate demand that the person asked me, and I say no to the person. Like it was a big burden, but it's really important to fix boundaries because it's healthy and it shows us ourself love. Yeah.
So I want to build on what she just was talking about with boundaries, because I struggled a lot. I've always heard about boundaries, boundaries. But I didn't understand how to even recognize a boundary needed to be set.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand that because I was so codependent. I had none. And even if I tried to set one, somebody would come bulldozing through, and I was like, this is fine, it's fine. It's like that meme with the dog and everything's on fire, and you're like, it's good, it's fine. So in my 12-week one-on-one program called Empowered Authenticity, I have developed a way to kind of check in with yourself to see if a boundary needs to be set. And so let me give you just one little tip out of that. It's a multi-step process, but and the program builds upon, layer upon layer. So by the time it's session 8, we get to the full scope of it. You've got all of the tools in place. But one of the modules before that is called Boundaries and the Ick Factor. And so today, I just want you to notice, you don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to say anything. We're starting out small here, people. This is a life change, and it's okay. So today, I just want you to recognize when somebody comes to you with something, or when you do something to yourself, for yourself, if your body recoils in that ick, like Nicole was saying, that icky, stinky, yucky, if you get that, like if your body physically recoils, if your head goes, at any point in time, that's the first signal that a boundary needs to be set. And so just start by noticing in your life where that happens. I know you don't know how to do boundaries. I know you don't know what they look like. I know you don't know how to hold them. And that's absolutely okay. What you've got to do first is just notice where they should be placed. You don't have to set them today. You don't have to honor them today. You don't have to change every aspect of your being today. But today, just notice, where does your body recoil? Because your body knows long before your heart and your brain knows.
Yes, your body knows. One of the things that I discovered when I was writing my chapter, I just did a little bit of research. I thought, I wonder what's the prevalence of this problem? Obviously, it's a big topic now, women and self-love. And there was a survey done, Ipsos conducted a poll in 2021. The Body Shop commissioned it. Half of the women in the world feel more self-doubt than self-love. And 60% wish they had more respect for themselves. And that's a pretty astonishing statistic when you think about it. More than half feel more self-doubt than self-love. So there's a lot that needs to change, for sure. So this book is a start.
Absolutely. But I love the fact that we're coming here today to not only tout this book and our hard work, that each one of us have some sort of program
That's right.
that is enmeshed a little bit in a positive way within each other. And I think that is just such a telltale sign that we are on the right track of how to heal, how to repair these relationships within ourselves. So I'm so honored to be here with you ladies today and be a part of this anthology. I couldn't be surrounded by better people. And so I encourage, if you're seeing any of us for the first time, come and follow us, come and see what we're doing. I can almost guarantee none of us is going to be a hard sell. We honestly, this is our purpose, and we want to make this impact on the world. And this is the vehicle to do it for us. And so come see what we're doing on our social media, book a discovery call with each one of us, all of us if you want to, and just see what fits for you, what resonates with you, and start taking back control and remembering who you are. Because like you've heard multiple times today, you can't pour from an empty cup. And girlfriend, my cup had been so bone dry at a multitude of times across my life that I ended up doing some health damage because of it.
Yeah.
And I want to say if I can save one person from doing that, then I'm happy with my life, and that's good. So I encourage you just come follow us and just see who resonates with you.
Amazing. Thank you, ladies. Yeah, I think for everybody out there watching and listening and seeing this, we all have work to do on self-love, as Melanie was saying with those statistics. And I just wanted to point something out just because it kind of resonated with me right now. And it's something that I think is important. And that's that even if it looks like people have it all together, remember, we're all working on ourselves and working on loving ourselves. And it's so important to not make other people's journey towards self-love about us, right? To not take it personally, to not double down on that guilt or that, what do you mean you can't help me? I mean, one of the best things I learned in a boundaries workshop that I took was, I'm not enforcing my boundaries to keep you out. I'm enforcing them to keep me in, right? So setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about protecting that part of you that doesn't have more to give. And, it's avoiding things like resentment and all of those things that can do so much more damage to a relationship than just saying no to a request, right? Sometimes no is the most loving response that you can give. And the reason I guess I'm feeling this so much this morning is as early as yesterday, I was talking to my sister and I was saying, I think I need to look at things because I think I'm allowing myself to be a bit of a doormat. And she said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, I think I'm undervaluing myself because I see these patterns come up where other people are getting things from me and they're not bad for asking because the problem is I'm the problem. I keep saying yes. So why wouldn't somebody ask? And she was like, oh, that's really kind of profound. And I was like, right. But that's just it is oftentimes when our first reaction, right, is to take the victim stance and say, well, they shouldn't be asking. They should be giving me this. They shouldn't be taking from me. And it's like, no, I should be saying no. I should be establishing boundaries. I should be loving myself enough to hold myself in. It's not someone else's job to make me happy. It's my job, right? So this book couldn't have come along at a better time for me. I will tell you that. I am definitely going to be diving in today. So thank you, ladies. And so before we go, because we do have to wrap it up soon, did each of you want to just leave our audience with something? Is there a message you'd like them to take away today?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I just want you to do this little exercise today. And it's just a little thought exercise. You don't have to go anywhere, do anywhere, be in any kind of headspace, write it down. But if you were put on an island tomorrow and everybody else is taken care of, kids are fine, hubby's okay, partner's fine, work's fine, everybody's fine. But you were on an island tomorrow with none of those roles, who would you be? And if you can't answer that, may I encourage you to get a coach or a therapist to help you rediscover yourself. It's really telling if you can't give me who you are, not in relation to anybody else.
I just want to say something like super quick is that God doesn't make junk. He makes diamonds. So start sparkling, ladies.
It's a nice one.
Yes, love yourself as your neighbors.
I have a little exercise, which is it breaks a pattern. You know how we often will speak kind of mean to ourselves, like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Or you forget something and you kind of beat yourself up a little bit, like, oh, I can't believe I said that, or I forgot that, or, you know, that shame that comes in when we feel we haven't lived up to something. We hold ourselves to such high standards. So I've been trying to train myself that if I say something unkind to myself, that I notice it and I stop myself, and then I deliberately apologize to myself to make a new pattern in my neural circuits that, like, oh, and then remind myself that I didn't deserve that, and then promise to be kinder to myself. And then it helps you recognize your habitual patterns of how you speak to yourself, and then to break those patterns, because those patterns are habits, but we can break habits and we can make new habits. So, you know, and eventually you find that you're just not doing that to yourself anymore. And it just feels better day to day. And you can start actually, instead of saying thank heavens, I'll say, well, thank me because I did that thing, you know?
I love that so much.
You did it, you know?
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Just think, if you wouldn't say it to your 5-year-old child, why do you say it to yourself?
Exactly, because we all are that child inside, right? And why would we ever be unkind? Yeah. So that's my tip for the day.
My tip sort of goes along with Melanie's. It's the give yourself a break when you have those negative thought cycles, and you're bound to have them, and they're going to come up every day. But just find something to be grateful for, or counteract those negative thought patterns with an affirmation. Turn them around. Put those into practice every day.
Exactly.
Amazing. Thank you so much, ladies. And everybody, remember, the Self-Love Project is out in ebook. Everybody here will be sharing the links. I will be sharing the links. Make sure you check it out. Get your copy today. We could all use a little more self-love in our lives, and it honestly will make the world a kinder and more loving place. So get out there, celebrate these ladies, purchase the ebook, and you know what? Let them know what you think. Leave a review. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you, ladies, and congratulations. I'm so stinking proud of you.
And She Rises.
Congrats, ladies.
And thank you, She Rises, for putting this topic forward.
Yes, thank you so much, Hannah, Adriana, Nicole, Angela. SRS is close to my heart.
Yeah,
amazing. Thank you. All right, ladies, enjoy the rest of your day, and remember to be proud of yourselves.
Right. Thank you.